Good morning. I'm Andrew Kaiser, and I am a composer and conductor. I am an essayist on paper and on YouTube. I work at a large financial services institution, and I am a student at Wesley Theological Seminary, and all of those interests combined is what I talk about on this channel. So today I want to talk about prayer and meditation. And in particular, I want to talk about how some of the insights that come from meditation can be brought over and can kind of deepen our context for prayer. And specifically, I want to talk about what's called breath prayer. Breath prayer is where you identify short text and repeat it, breathing in with the first part of the text and breathing out with the second part of the text. The text becomes the object of attention. The scripture becomes the object of attention. So it's a very focused form of prayer, using the words of scripture to connect in with God. Meditation over on this side here, meditation is different from prayer, right? Meditation at its core is understanding the nature of the mind. And I think where this is helpful is that where the overlap is what are we paying attention to? If we talk about meditation and concentration and focus, it all starts with being able to say, my mind is stable. My mind is paying attention to the breath. My mind is paying attention to my mind is paying attention to itself and observing the behavior of thoughts. I am, through meditation, becoming more deeply attuned to inputs, whether those are external phenomena like sounds, whether those are internal sensations, physical sensations, emotions, thoughts, including that sense of a concrete, permanent self, which we all kind of intuit lives up here somewhere and pulls the strings. But one of the realizations that comes with formal meditation is that that concrete self is an illusion. Not that self is an illusion. There is a self, right? We're not looking to destroy the self. What we are looking to do is understand the nature of self. And in this case, the self is revealed as constantly changing. We try to grab hold of the self, that mix of emotions and sensations and experiences. It's like trying to grab hold of water coming out of a hose. The water is there, but nothing to grab hold of. Put your foot into the river. The river is there, but the river is changing. It's not occult or mysterious. It's also not contradictory to prayer. Because how much more profound, or how more deep, words are difficult, how much deeper will your prayer be if we approach it, if I approach it, if you approach it, with a clearer understanding of what's the noise in my head and what is God? What is the text that I'm paying attention to? And what is the fantasy or dream or delusion or experience that I've spent the last 5 minutes thinking about, and not the text in hand? So we start, the prayer is to find text, and I would suggest starting with a psalm and perhaps a couple of verses from a psalm. I'm actually reading Psalm 21 today. And in particular, Psalm 21, verses 6 and 7, You give him blessings forever. This is the Lord, you giving blessings to him, which is the king. You give him blessings forever. You cheer him with joy in your presence. For the king relies on the Lord through the faithful love of the Most High. These two verses are good because they kind of bring the first half of the psalm to a conclusion. There's a whole series of good things happening to the king, salvation and blessings and heart's desire being fulfilled. And then it comes in, for the king relies on the Lord. Relying on the Lord through the faithful love of the Most High. The Lord is steadfast. So I'm looking at this, and you will choose different words, but I choose to focus on blessings forever as my inhale, and faithful love as my exhale. Right? To me, that distills a dynamic within the psalm. So, blessings forever and faithful love. But before I settle into that, I'm going to start with a foundational exercise in attention. So I'll take a pose, and the requirements for the pose are only that it be physically balanced. So if you're sitting on the floor, on a cushion, and your legs are in a full lotus pose, upright, hands are in a mudra of some kind, wonderful. I cannot sit in a full lotus pose, but I can sit on a cushion with a nice cross-legged pose. The goal is to be alert but not tense, and comfortable but not collapsed. So there's a balance point in the basis of the physical construct, the basis of your physical pose, that needs to allow the rest of your body to settle. If you're in a chair like I am right now, you can do the same thing. You just need the 3 points of the base of the spine and then the soles of the feet flat on the ground so that you're connected, balanced, and supported, not tense by trying to get into a position that is too difficult, and not collapsed by being too relaxed. Because then the mind will drift. If it's tense, the mind will constrain, and if it's too relaxed, the mind will float off. The directions for the body mirror the directions for the mind. You want the same sort of openness, relaxation, focus in the mind. So then whether you're sitting on the cushion or on the chair, then the spine should be straight, chin tucked a little bit. Shoulders should be not pronated back, not hunched forward, just nice and open. Arms should be relaxed. There's a lot we can talk about the pose, and there are other videos where I've gone into great detail about that. I'll come back to it. But for now, just remember that you want to be comfortable, but not collapsed. And you want to be alert, but not tense. From there, take a deep breath through the nose. And out through the nose. And take a second with that breath to figure out what the breath is for you. So for me, it's the noise, right? Combined with the sensation of the breath on my beard. For you, you might feel the breath as the rise and fall of the belly or the shoulders. It doesn't matter what it is, but find some physical representation of the breath, because that's what you're going to start by paying attention to. Then you could spend the next minute or 10 minutes or 20 minutes or hour watching the breath and observing when the focus of your attention leaves the breath and goes to something else, whether it's the light that's coming in here or the sound of the fan, which I should have turned off before I started recording, whether it's a noise outside, whether it's some physical discomfort. Any one of those things, whether it's a plan for the rest of the day, whether it's anxiety about what happened earlier, any of those things can move from being an experience to being a narrative. And as soon as it becomes a narrative, that's where you need to go and return back to the breath. And that finger snap is the moment of recognition of distraction. It's an incredibly powerful moment. It's the moment of awakening. And in that moment, you want to make that moment more and more frequent so that your attention is more and more stable. And then you want it to extend, so longer and longer. At first, it might just be for a single breath. And then you suddenly realize that you've spent 5 minutes thinking about lunch. And that's the sensation of attention. And it's good to start with the breath because it's kind of neutral, it's kind of present. Pay attention to it. Do that for a bit. Do that for a couple of minutes. And then, with that same openness, introduce the words. Right? Blessings forever. Steadfast love. Blessings forever. Steadfast love. Or whatever the words were that jumped out from the chosen scripture for you. And what you're doing there is embedding the scripture in your experience, embedding it in the body, in the mind, in the sensations. You are bringing scripture as a living entity into your field of experience. You're also stabilizing the mind, which in and of itself is a beneficial, healing, helpful thing to do. So the breath prayer is spoken of as sort of a part of an ancient Christian tradition. But the idea of a mantra, the idea of repetition and focus is part of any school or tradition that focuses on the mind. And my suggestion is that as we think about prayer, we should include some of these sort of psychologically astute trainings about how to stabilize the mind. Otherwise, our prayer is just fragmented. And that's it's better than not praying, but it's not what it could be. So there you go. Let me know what you think. Your questions, please drop them in the comments, and we'll go from there. This is really important. It's central to the work I want to do in this channel. So if you know anyone else who might be interested, get them to subscribe as well. All right. Keep your wits about you.